Now, to offer some closing remarks and reflections on today's discussions, I'm delighted to invite Lisa Van Helle, the Pro-Vice Provost of Climate Crisis at UCL.
Thank you. I'm checking the mic. Is that working? The back? Yeah, great. I am so delighted to be here, and I've been given the impossible task of summarizing a whole wonderful day's worth of discussions and productive ideas and fruitful disagreements in 5 minutes. And so what I might do instead is offer a kind of a personal start and then try and do some justice to that mandate. Today, there's been a small voice from the back, a young person that's been kind of floating through beautifully, I think, and it was really wonderful, and it reminded me of a time when I was playing with my son when he was 3.5 years old. I'm a single parent, and we were playing doctor. I'm a good aspirational middle-class mother. And so he took out his thermometer and took my temperature, and he looked in my eyes, and he took my blood pressure, and he listened to my heart. And he packed up his implements, and he looked me straight in the eye, very good bedside manner, and he said, "Mummy, it's not good news." And I thought, oh my God, what is gonna come? And he said, "Mummy, you have climate change." And I realized 2 things in that moment. One, I had been working on a research project with a team, and we were interviewing leaders in the global south about how they're dealing with kind of worst impacts of climate change and how that's affecting their policymaking. And I thought, I need to stop talking about this so much at the dinner table. And the second insight I had is, of course, he's absolutely right. We all have climate change. It's in our hearts, as we've heard from the activists today. It's in our minds, the way the scientists have spoken about. It's in the way that we talk to each other. It's in the way that we now connect with each other. And I feel so privileged and so lucky to be in this role of Pro-Vice Provost for the climate crisis at UCL with Professor Mark Maslin, who has been a huge supporter and cheerleader of mine. But I feel so lucky because I think UCL is the best place in the world to be able to work and study on issues related to sustainability and addressing the climate crisis, even with its frustrations, even though we know we can do better. And a lot of what we've been hearing about today makes me think about the importance of that feeling work that we've heard about. But it also made me reflect on something I heard Amitav Ghosh, the Indian writer and scholar, talk about a few weeks ago in a program I listened to. And he noted that in the West, we spend a lot of time asking whether we should feel hope or despair, depending on the latest headline we've heard, the latest talk we've been to, the latest scientific report that's come out. And he suggested that in those moments, we take that time to feel, but also ask a different question. The question of duty. Given the state of the planet, what can I do with the knowledge and the resources and the capacity and the power that I have? What can I do? And so I am choosing to feel those emotions, but also ask this question. In my role as a professor of political science, in my life as a mother, and in the Pro-Vice Provost role here at UCL with Mark. And today I've heard a room full of people that take that question, what can I do, seriously? And so I want to focus on looking at all the amazing, innovative things that have been happening in this space and moving from that place of strength as we go into our conversations afterwards. We've heard about innovations and entrepreneurships and disruption in business, policy, campaigns, culture. We've heard about the net zero strategy for London by 2030. We've heard about a place of strength, a political consensus in Westminster, which may be fraying, but that there is a need for action on climate change and that there is a receptivity to that. We've heard about synergies between climate commitments and other goals. Some people believing that we can synergize development goals in Africa with the development of renewable energies. We should also synergize between commitments to social justice, insulating and decarbonizing homes here in Camden, as a way of addressing the climate crisis and social justices at the same time. We continue to hear about the need for meaningful engagement by young people, but have heard how they're doing that themselves through climate assemblies, being in touch with their representatives, direct action, and other forms of student activism within the university itself. And I think the thing that's tying all of this together is this need for leadership, and leadership in big ways and in small ways. And in what ways can we take leadership? What kinds of agency do we have? From those small conversations within the community to taking, action right up to the political level, to the heart of Westminster. And of course, we always need to remember that doing this work can be challenging, and we need to take care of ourselves and of each other. And the key message that has been coming back to me today is one of connection and that need for connection. And so I think this really helps us segue into the next component of the day. And before we do that, I'm going to hand back over to Shuka to close this portion of today's event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, that is it. Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you for all your wonderful comments and questions. And once again, I'd like to thank our excellent speakers that helped us throughout the day. We will shortly move for our Climate Cafe to the Jeffrey Hall for some refreshments and networking. Meanwhile, we will have a CTA or either a QR code that on the screen that will link to the feedback form. So we would like to know your thoughts about today's event. And we would like to say a huge thanks to all the people that made this event happen today. I had the privilege to work with the fantastic UCL team, Claudia Rowland, Kate Thomas, Catherine Welsh, James Paskins, Becca Burns, Sam Greenwood, Ellie Lee, and Michael Lucibella, and the fantastic Climate Reality team, of course, Versha Jones, Gosha Richlick, Catherine Smith, Eric Dahlhausen, Jessica Besch, and Sean Berger. Thank you so much. Thank you.